Last week, a game came out into early access on Steam called Rock Galactic Survivor. If you're unaware, Rock Galactic is a game from 2020 about being a space dwarf working for a company that sends miners out onto distant planets to kill insects, collect precious resources, and then return to the ship to move on to the next mission. Vampire Survivors is a game that took the internet by storm in 2022, spawning many clones you've probably seen. Your weapons fire automatically, the only control you have is your movement and the upgrade choices you pick when you eliminate the never-ending waves of enemies, and there's loads of build options. I've played a fair amount of both of these games over the last couple years, so naturally I had to take a look at the fusion of them. Also, I want to throw in here, I'm normally pretty positive about the games that I play, but because this is an early access game, I'm going to be asking a little bit more than I would from a fully released game, which sounds kind of weird, but after seeing what the Deep Rock devs have done before, I have full faith that this game is going to be polished and amazing by full release. Also, they've already been patching the game like crazy, so most of the footage was recorded on the launch version day 1, so there have already been some changes and your mileage may vary. I hope you enjoy this video. Naturally, the first thing we do when we log into the game is look around at all the things we can do. Here are the milestones. A lot of these have achievements associated with them. These are things that you achieve in the game that will lead you to higher rewards. We also look at the upgrades. These are what you get for turning in the different resources that you bring back from your missions. Then we look at the different planets that we can look at. There are only 3 currently in this version of the game, but you unlock more using different challenges that you can see here, as well as different levels of hazard, which are increased difficulty as you go up. And we earn our first achievement, Run for the Hills, for checking out the 4 characters you can play as, first unlock being the Scout, and then we can see the 3 versions of the Scout that are playable. So all of those features are included in Deep Rock Galactic base, so naturally the missions are the same as well. We come down in the drop pod and we get our missions that we need to complete long term, as well as the 5 levels we need to get through on this mission. As we land on the first planet, we can move around collecting different ores and fighting off the basic enemies that spawn, and after you get a little bit of experience collected from those sources, you start to get these level ups in the form of stat and weapon upgrades. The other big thing of note that happens when you level up in this game is on levels 5, 15, and 25, you get access to some new weapons you can choose from. These are decided based on what character you're playing as and which version of the character you're playing as to determine the weapon type. On each of the 5 levels of the mission, you'll get this randomly spawning supply drop pod that you can clear out some space for and it'll drop down. In the regular game, this gives you some health back and some ammo, but in this game it gives you an artifact that can help you decide the build around for your current run. After we've spent a little bit of time collecting resources and fighting off the waves of enemies, a boss will spawn. These are normally not too difficult for the first couple levels, but we take them out and get given 30 seconds to return to the drop pod. We get in the drop pod and we drop down to the next level of the mission, but before that we have a chance to spend some of the gold and nitra, the red ore there that we've collected throughout the mission, on some upgrades, and I was a little afraid to do this on the first run here, but we'll get to it eventually. Another interesting thing to note about this game is once the level boss has spawned, if you take too long to kill it, eventually the aliens will go stronger, and they'll start sending out more enemies, and you kind of get overrun a little bit. And I get that this is to stop farming, but it does mean if you can't kill the level boss quickly, you will get overrun eventually, which is what happens on this second level here. On my first run, we get taken out and the mission fails. But it's not all bad, as now we get to see the mission end screen where we can see all of our stats for the run, the guns we picked, the resources we extracted, and any milestones we may have completed. But we won't let that keep us down. We're going straight back into it. Me dying on the second level of this brand new game? I'm so experienced with these types of games. How could I let that happen again? We drop in, we defeat the first boss, we're flying through. And then we're making it to the drop pod and we learn that 30-second cutoff is so strict and real, and we die on the first level on our second run. And that is even more embarrassing than the first one. But hey, we get a gun out of it. Our next run starts out a little bit better. We earn our second achievement, Get That Midas Touch, for collecting a total of 250 gold. And we accidentally learn some pretty cool tech that you can actually time the supply pod to drop in on the boss to get the kill on them, which is very very useful going forward. And our luck continues as we earn the third achievement, Gotta Stay Nitrated, for collecting 250 nitra total throughout our runs as well. After a couple more attempts, we actually managed to make it to the final level of a mission for the first time. And on this one, you can actually be a little bit more proactive than you could on the earlier missions. You can actually go bust out the boss that you want to fight and then take them on. But the gimmick here is that there are 3 individual boss fights of the bosses we were taking on before, and then once you've taken all of those guys out, you can pop the big egg, and out comes the main boss of the game. Now this is the only boss in the game at the moment, and he's only got one attack, this charge thing that levels me immediately, and we lose that run. But it's not all bad because we do unlock our second playable character, the Gunner, and earn the achievement Lock and Load. So we flubbed our first chance at taking out the final boss, but there will be many more to come, so that's not a super big deal. And we've been making some progress. We've unlocked some new weapons, such as a fire grenade that gives us our 5th achievement, Hot Hot Hot, for inflicting 250,000 fire damage. And similarly, we've also managed to unlock a freeze grenade, which allows us to unlock our 6th achievement, A Freeze is Coming, for dealing 250,000 cryo damage total across all of our runs. We use our new cryo build to help slow down big swarms of enemies and help us get all the way back to the final boss again, but it's not quite enough. He kills us again, but we're getting closer. We earn our 7th achievement, Awfully Rich, for collecting a total of 2,000 gold, which unlocks gold-tipped bullets, a very interesting item we'll take a look at in a bit. Another huge thing that makes this game very interesting is once you've reached level 12 on a gun once, you unlock overclocks for it. So every 6 subsequent levels, you can put a new overclock on it in the run, which allows you to really build your run into something unique. Unfortunately, even those overclocks aren't quite enough to save us on this run, but we do earn our next achievement, Enjoy a Relaxing Stroll, for unlocking the Engineer character for playability. On our next run, we finally get a look at the gold-tipped bullets that I mentioned before. Now this item increases your damage by 1% for every 5 gold you've collected on the run, which just seems absolutely insane to me, so I have to pick it up. And right I was able to ride this huge damage increase that we had all the way to our first kill of the final boss, but I didn't really know where to go. It took me too long to get the mission done, and we failed again. I think maybe damage isn't the problem. Maybe I need to go in with more health, be a little bit tankier. I accidentally complete the milestone Delicious BLT for collecting 300 health on this run, and right I was, because this time we take out the final boss with all of our health, still quite a bit remaining, no difficulty. We managed to make it straight out of the level, the drop pod spawns very close, and gone we are. Now, I really hope that in the future they add some achievements for beating the final boss, maybe on each of the planets, each of the hazard levels, because it's kind of disappointing to finally get through this struggle and not really get anything for it, but we did it. Let's go. Having finally conquered level 1, difficulty 1, we decide it's time to branch out and take a look at another one of the planets, and this one is pretty fiery, covered in lava, but same general idea, same resources, another thing that would be kind of interesting to change in the future. But yeah, pretty much same old. We're wandering around collecting resources, taking out enemies, and then same 5-level structure to get to the same final end boss. I assume this is going to get kind of tweaked in the future, but for now it's kind of disappointing that it's all the same. And I don't know if it's the upgrades we've been taking or what, but we actually managed to take out the boss of the fire planet on the first try, which is pretty exciting for me, you know? We struggled through the first time so much, but now we're alright. And for our pretty good effort here, we earn our next achievement, Dig Down Deep, for unlocking the next and final character, the Driller. After finishing that up, I decided to spend some time working on quests and working on some of the different milestones, and we don't have to wait long because I earned the next one, Relish the Pain, right here, for dealing 1,337 damage in a single hit. On our next run, we earn our next achievement, Pillar of Society, for killing a total of 15,000 enemies while standing still, and we have a couple characters that have turret weapons now, which make this pretty easy for us to achieve. Not long after that, we earned the achievement Sprinkle of Nitra for collecting a total of 2,000 Nitra, which unlocks another interesting artifact called Nitrogenic Powder. Nitrogenic Power is the item equivalent of the gold-tipped bullets from before, allows us to increase our critical hit chance by 0.5% for every Nitra we have collected, and we use that to earn our next achievement, Squint and Squeeze the Trigger, for reaching 75% total crit chance in a single run. My favorite character in Deep Rock is the Scout, so I think now's a good time to start trying out these secondary class abilities that you can get on each of the characters. And Recon Scout happens to have some abilities that we need for some of the future milestones that we have left. We have an artifact that helps raise our reload speed to 75% and allows us to unlock our next achievement, Swift Guns for Swift Hands. And on the very next run after that, we managed to earn our next achievement, It's Got Electrolytes, for reaching a total of 50% move speed. Now, we only have a couple of achievements left, so I start to really look at doing some specific things. The first one I'm looking at is Slick Like Butter, which involves dodging 100 times during a single run. So the Recon Scout has a 30% dodge chance, the best that we could do, but it's still pretty hard to get that done. We decided to stack up some HP and take some armor to hopefully reduce our damage to help increase our odds of being able to run through enemies and proc that dodge damage chance, and we're still kind of struggling even when we're purposefully trying to stall out and hit as many enemies as we can. It's tough to be able to survive and win the whole run, but also get 100 dodges in there. So looking for this one achievement actually took me quite a few tries, and it's okay that there's not really a way to raise your dodge chance until you've completed the dodge challenge. That's kind of the way they've structured all of the items, but I really wish you could see how many dodges you had done in a run on the pause screen, because you can see it at the mission start screen on the top right there. You can see how many dodges you have done in a run if you're looking for this achievement, but it would be kind of a little bit more convenient if you could look in the escape menu during a run as well. On our way to unlocking the 100 dodge achievement, we actually managed to earn another achievement, No Pain, No Gain, for taking a total of 2,000 damage during a single run, so this saves us some time in the future, that's good. And on the same run as the No Pain, No Gain achievement, we finally get our 100 dodges and earn the next achievement, Slick Like Butter. Now, this was kind of annoying to get, but honestly, this was fun. It was a very different playstyle to play, and it was enjoyable. So now you're probably looking at this thinking, well, you're at 18 out of 19 achievements, just one more quick thing to bang out, and then we'll be ready to go. You've done everything in Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. But that last grind was nothing compared to what we have left. The final achievement of the game is Big Spender for spending a total of 20,000 gold in the store. And we are currently sitting at 9.9 hours played for a little less than 5,000 gold spent. So we have quite a bit of grinding left to do. We need to go into the stores between each of the levels and basically spend as much gold as we possibly can to grind through these levels. Now, if you're looking to get this achievement done as quick as you possibly can, the easiest way to do this is for sure take the driller, look for the artifact that allows you to get gold on a chance when you mine stone, and you can pretty easily clear through each of the levels, but I think this is kind of unfun, so what I decided to do is go through each of the characters, try to work on getting up to higher difficulties and clearing out some of the planets that we haven't played, as well as upping our hazard level and kind of passively collecting some of that gold that we need. So while I'm spending some time collecting that 20,000 gold we need in the background, let's take a look at the final of the 3 planets that we haven't looked at so far in this video. This one's a lot more green, and instead of having just rocks or the magma from the previous levels, we have these vines. They're the brown vines that you can mine, but as soon as you turn your back, they will pop back up, and they're called regenerating vines for a reason. They regenerate after you mine them. But there's also these red vines, as you can see in the top left there, that are completely impenetrable. You can't get through no matter what you do. I would say that this is probably my second favorite planet. It's very interesting, but I just hate that magma planet. So annoying. So now back to the main event you've all been waiting for, watching me mine all of this gold. Just kidding, I've skipped a lot of the mining, but you can see here we're right at the end, and we're actually just 3 gold short of completing it on this level, so we need to play one more. Not a super big deal though, we're getting there. This was a lot of grinding, but eventually on the next store, we can finally spend the gold that we've collected to earn our big spender achievement. This was a huge grind, but honestly, I had a lot of fun doing it, and it wasn't boring at all. It was really a good challenge. So this is normally where I say, how did we do? When we look at my playtime compared to howlongtobeat.com's playtime estimate. But that's not really how this works. This is a roguelite game. I think that that's kind of a disingenuous comparison to make. I spent 21.7 hours with this game total, and I think I'm stopping there for now. There is definitely a lot of stuff you can do with this game, and I'm very, very excited to see what this game will be as they keep adding stuff. And on the roadmap, it says that they're expecting 6 to 12 months until this game is fully released, and I'm probably going to revisit it when it comes to that, assuming they add more achievements. I'll definitely revisit it on my own, but if they add more stuff to do achievement-wise, I'll probably revisit it for the channel as well. Like I mentioned during the video, I'd love to see some more planets added, some more bosses added, and maybe some achievements related to taking out those planets, taking out those bosses, and for beating the game on different hazard levels. Would absolutely love achievements for all of that. And I don't know if they're going to go the Deep Rock Galactic route, but I wouldn't mind seeing some multiplayer. I've seen some people saying that. I don't know how they would do it. It's kind of a weird game for that, but I would enjoy it for sure. So I was very happy with the time that I spent with this game. It was a lot of fun, and it was a really good blend between the Deep Rock Galactic and the Vampire Survivors. The theme really fits, you know, the company is sending out these disposable dwarves to take on these missions, and if you die, it's not a super big deal. We'll just send out another one. It's a perfect fit, really, in my mind. And this game was a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed my time with it, and I really enjoy seeing what they're going to do with it and taking a look at any future achievements that they might add. Thanks for watching this video. Really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next week for the next one. Take care. See ya!